let's move on to main topic number 1. And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Westin Magadize, who writes, "Hey, John, even though Blade Runner is a really celebrated film, I feel like it doesn't get enough love. 2049 was a brilliant masterpiece, and yet no one talks about the Blade Runner universe being amongst the best. Anyway, did you see that Denis Villeneuve has been talking about wanting to do another one? It would be perfect for him to finish the trilogy. What do you think about this?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And listen, I am one of those people, I'm one of those very, very rare people in the world that I actually didn't like the original Blade Runner. Everybody else does. Rob gets, Rob's face looks like I break his heart a little bit every time I mention I'm not really a big fan of the original. But even I, who doesn't have a huge appreciation for the original, even I loved Blade Runner 2049. I mean, they totally blew the marketing campaign on it, and it totally lost money. But besides that, I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant film. And if you're not excited about Dune yet, go and watch what he did with Blade Runner 2049, and then pretend like you're not excited for Dune. I just cannot wait to see what he does here. And yes, he has come out and said he'd be interested in it. Here's exactly what was said. This comes to us from Empire Magazine, who wrote, and this is Denis Villeneuve's quote saying, "It's such an interesting place, the Blade Runner world," he says, adding that he would be interested in another movie if it was unconnected from the first two. "The problem is having the word sequel. I think cinema needs original stories, but if you ask me if I'd like to revisit this universe in a different way, I can say yes. It would need to be a project on its own, something disconnected from both other movies, a detective noir story set in the future." Well, if it's a detective noir story, is it all that different? Anyway, "I wake up sometimes in the night dreaming about it." So obviously this is something he's still pretty excited about. And again, even as somebody who wasn't a huge fan of the original film, I really did like 2049. But I'll tell you what, Aaron, I don't think anybody should get too excited about this.
Nope.
This ain't going to happen.
Nope.
No, the fact of the matter is he made a bloody, brilliant film and it still couldn't make any money. Mm-hmm. And it was brilliant. It was fabulous. So I just don't see the studios or any studios wanting to put up the type of coin it would take to revisit that incredible Roger Deakins looking world in Blade Runner 2049, despite what Denis says. Like, even if Dune comes out and Dune becomes the next billion-dollar film, I still don't think a studio will want to go back to that. As fun as it sounds, and as much as I would be there to see it, I don't think it would actually happen. But you hear this, number one, are you surprised to hear that he would like to go back to that world? And do you think maybe there is any chance that maybe it could happen?
Well, first things first, I want to point out the irony of him saying that his problem is with the word sequel, considering the fact that he's the one who did the sequel to Blade Runner.
Was indeed a
so I just
sequel.
want to point that out to begin with. What I think they should do is keep with a tradition that they've already started, and instead, and yes, there should be another one, and it should come out in 2047, just like the sequel to the original, which placed the future as 2019, came out in 2017, only 2 years prior to what was considered the future in the original. So I think they should just keep with that tradition. And if you're saying, oh my gosh, that's so far away, let me just point out, we're as far away from 1980 as we are from 2050. And if that doesn't freak you out, you're clearly soulless. But also, you know, I don't think that he should worry about that. I think he should absolutely do a noir, a detective film. If you make it Double Indemnity set in the future with maybe a Hitchcock blonde thrown in, I don't know. I was doing a little bit of a deep dive on the source material from this. And if you're not familiar with Philip K. Dick, sorry. If you're not familiar with the work of Philip Dick, who wrote the source material, and also the source material for Minority Report and a million other incredible films, go look up this guy's life. He had a fascinating life, and especially towards the end, he said that he had this connection with God, and then he wrote some really trippy stuff, and he's just a fascinating character. And I would like to see Denis Villeneuve direct a project that's based around Philip Dick's life, because that is a movie right there. Somebody go write it. I will star in it. You're welcome. But Denny, do that. Don't those dreams that keep you up at night are dreams that need to be fulfilled.
Question here is, guys, what do you think about that? I think there's probably a lot of you guys that are like me that you would, I mean, if they announced another Blade Runner movie, I think a lot of film fans would be very, very excited about it, but I just don't see them doing it. Do you think that somebody would put up the money to have something like that made? I don't know. Or maybe you just want to see him continue on and do other new original things. I want to know what you guys think. Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right.